Isser lo Yilbash. There's a pasuk in the Torah in Parshas Kiseitze. The pasuk says lo yio kli gever al isha. A lady is not allowed to wear begodim of a man. For lo Yilbash gever, and a man shouldn't wear simlas isha, the clothing of a lady. To say in the pasuk there are two separate lavin. One lav is speaking to women to tell them that they're not allowed to wear begodim of a man. And then the pasuk says right there, speaking the other way around to a man, that a man is not allowed to wear begodim of a lady. Two separate lavin. The chinuch in Minyan HaMitzvahs counts it as two separate lavin. First in Tavkuf Mem Beis, he says the first part of the pasuk, and he says v'noy heges b'nekevois. Only the first lav is only negay for ladies, and then in the second part of the pasuk he says the next lav v'noy heges is noyeg by men. So we have two lav, and one's a lav for men that are not allowed to wear begodim of ladies, and one is for ladies that are not allowed to wear begodim of men.
Why not be if it's one and two lavin?
I don't know if there's an afkamina, but we'll see that these different. The reason why I want to split it up is lav daf an afkamina ladina, but we're going to see to discuss each one separately. Could be even at the end there won't be a chilik ladina, but at least understanding the pshat, sign the pasuk, and sign a little after the pasuk also. They have to learn the pasuk at the end of Bikurim. The Perek, I'm sorry. The second part of the pasuk, which says simla, that's ganz klar. We're speaking about simla is clothing. Simla is begodim, so that's klar. When the pasuk says "Vel Yilvash gever simlas isha," a man shouldn't wear a woman's simla. Simla is clothing. That's very clear. The beginning of the pasuk, when the pasuk is saying the iser for ladies, the lashon pasuk la yu kli gever al isha. So what's kli gever? Kli gever is not only clothing, like it's mavur in the Gemara. The Gemara says, "Who adin a lady's not allowed to wear klei zayin." But Godim army clothing is also included in the Isser. That's the Gemara. The Gemara says clearly, the Gemara Nazir. The Isser is the Isser side begodim of a man and side big day klei zayin. The Targum on the pasuk, right there in Parshas Kiseitze, that when the Targum teaches klei gever, zok the Targum, the Lashon Targum lo yehei tikun zayin the gever al etzasa, which means the Targum says that a lady is not allowed to wear klei zayin, klei mochama, which would really seem that maybe only klei zayin is the isser, but what's about for her to wear begodim of a man, not klei zayin, not klei mochama? So the chinuch says it's both. It's hu adin. I hear you saying it's kolshkein. It's interesting. It would really seem from the Targum that brings klei zayin that only klei zayin is also not begodim. But zok the chinuch that the reason why the Targum said klei zayin, the etzem of course hu adin begodim as well. The reason why I said klei zayin is to illustrate the geder ha'isser, which means the Torah asers to wear the begodim of the opposite, which means a lady's not allowed to wear big day ish, is only when it's meyuchad dafka for a man, only when it's designated for a man. Therefore, the Targum says klei zayin, as the chinuch says, the ein locha isha ba'olam. I forgot exactly the lashon. There isn't lo matzinu that ladies should wear klei mochama. So Mela, the Targum takes it as a mashal to understand when the Torah says that he's an isser of la Yilbash by a lady, what type of begodim are we answering the lady to wear that are from a man? The begodim bedoimet the klei zayin that is dafka miyuchad only for men.
They had like weapons which are miyuchad for ladies also, no?
Gun?
Ladies revolver, like small
Ladies revolver. Nice.
We're not holding yet Bismanas. We're handling the Torah, the Targum. We'll see, things changed. That's B'chlal Shmuz and La Yilbash and everybody else does. This year we're not going to discuss, hopefully in the part 2, we'll go into that neither.
You can't carry a gun, you know.
We'll speak about certain Ifana, maybe Bizman as well. We'll get to it. We'll get to Gans as well. We'll get to it, Be'ez Hashem. So we have over here, the Torah says he's an Isser for a man to wear Begadim of a Isha. The Torah says similar. By a man, the Isser, the second part of the Pasuk, the Isser for men wearing Begadim of ladies, there the Torah says similar, which is clothing. But Lamaisa, the Gemara in Makkah says clearly, the Gemara in Makkah, Taf Chaf Amud Beis, that it's Lav Dafka clothing, which again, the Torah, when the Torah speaks about the Isser, Lo Yilbash, for men wearing what ladies have, which is similar, the Pashas, it's clothing. But the Gemara says, who had then anything else that a lady does, Lenoi uleyofi lehiskashet, removing hairs from certain places, Beis HaShechi, Beis HaErva, or dyeing hair from white to black, that's also Nichlal, the Isser HaTorah of Yilbash. You take a look at our Siman Kuf Pei Beis. The Siman is 6 seifim. 5 out of the 6 seifim is all speaking about different ways how it's aser benegay the hair, removing certain hairs or dyeing the hair. Only Sifei speaks about the clothing. But Lamaisa, the Isser HaTorah for men is not only on clothing, who are then other things that ladies do lehiskashet to beautify themselves, is the Isser also for men. And as we saw before, the Isser for ladies, the Torah says klei gever. So klei gever is not only clothing, who adin klei mulchama also is aser. What's the reason for the Isser? Why is there an Isser HaTorah of Yilbash for men, for ladies? What's the reason? So the Emma says that the pasuk itself finishes up the Lashon HaPasuk, Ki toyavas Hashem elakecha kol oisa eilutz, a toyeva, for a man to wear begadim of a lady, for a lady to wear begadim of a man. And like the Gemara says, the Gemara in Nazir, what's the problem if a man wears begadim of a lady? She'll look like a lady, v'teishev bein anoshim, she'll sit over there by the noshim, and the word is if she looks like a lady, they're not going to realize that she's a man, and memela ubali de zima. So that's the reason why it's asa. The Isser silbash is the Isser to keep the gender separate. Shalai lovely de znus. That's mavur. The Chinuch explains it more barichas, but it's based off the pasuk, the Gemara. Interesting, the Chinuch also brings another reason, a second reason why the Isser HaTorah of Yilbash, and he says, brings the Rambam Sefer HaMitzvahs Lav Mem, that the reason why it is the Isser Yilbash is because that was a derech l'avodah zara that they used to wear, switch the begadim. We saw already quite in the past few months, Shatnez and others, the last few semanim also, was the derech l'avodah zara to do that. So it's a harchaka from avodah zara to, therefore he's the Isser Yilbash. So we have two reasons. The first reason, which is the pashas and the pasuk, al shalei lovely de zima. That's the first reason why not to put on clothing of an opposite gender. And then also the second is al avodah zara. The second tama is al harchaka from avodah zara. The Rambam. Rambam Sefer HaMitzvahs Mem.
That's why it's next to each other over here. And he's going with the
well, that's why the semanim are all one after the other. Since we see that there's a reason, as we see that the Iker, the reason of La Yilbash, the Isser HaTorah, is because Shlai Lovili De Zima, Shlai Leishav, the men shouldn't sit by the ladies shouldn't sit by the men, would L'cha'ira come out that if it's Bitsina, a lady could wear a malbush of a man, lamashal pants, but even that it's Bitsina would come out that it's mutter. The whole Isser Lo Yilbash is that if a lady looks like a man, or Fakert are going to go to the men, a man will go by the ladies, if it's Bitsina, there are no men, it should come out that it's mutter. The Torah says, Ki toyevas Hashem.
People say the time they give it.
Okay, very good, very good. You meyashiv, because Lamaisa, the Minchas Yitzchak has a tshuva, and he says that even B'tzina, he says it's aser. We'll see these cholka, but he says it's aser.
Maybe he's going to do it all the time.
And he says loy mi boya, very good. Shlomi Yosef, very good. Loy mi boya, but we'll get to your shtickle in a second. Loy mi boya, if you say the Isser is Neshama Avodah Zara. So So if the Issa is Misham Avodah Zarah, even B'tzina also, because the Maisa Shloila stop, you shouldn't do Maisa Shal Avodah Zarah. But if the reason is Al Zima, that L'chayr shouldn't be a Issa B'tzina, so he brings Rayas L'maisa that it's not, that a Rayas that even B'tzina would be also. We're going to handle a shtickle the cases of the Rayas later, but it brings the Rayas Ayin Sham, Chelik Beisim, Kuf Ches, Ois Gimel, which l'chayr you have to understand. If the reason is b'shum zima, you don't have the reason. So tzarach loimer that even though you're saying that the Torah doesn't even say a reason, ki toyavas Hashem, l'chayr that's a reason. You have to say that that's the reason, but the gather is as a across the board. You have to understand what. Yeah, but if, it's not that we're saying a reason. If it says in the Torah, ki toyavas Hashem, what's the toyeva? I hear you saying it's the Torah doesn't say mafurish. If the Torah would say mafurish that it's out bali de zima, so but even that it's not bali de zima, it shouldn't be aser.
Who's saying that Betzina is mutter?
Is aser. The Minchas Yitzchak says that Betzina is aser.
Well, who said it's mutter?
We'll get to that in a second, but that's what he says that it's aser. So and still it's aser.
It could be a bridge to it.
He rather brings that, but the Shal that's midrabanan.
Minchas Chinuch says here by Tumtum that since it's Efsha, the boy de Zimo, he had a tzad to be matzah, out that tzad. But then he says, the mice there's a cost.
Aha. Oh, very good. Very good, Sushtal, very good. So you see that it's Xeris HaKosa, that it's also Asa B'chaloifen.
Could be a bridge to it. From Sinner, could be more. Not that you take it out on him. Turn it on any of it. Like drugs, you know? You don't stop a halal. I mean, this kind of action is a problem. You can say that it could be more. Terry said we don't want it all together.
So that's a Rabbanon, a Xeira, but sin will be.
Terry don't want it halal because this leads. There's no stop.
I hear.
I guess I'm saying Nazir would be another example, but if Terry says don't go near it. But I'm saying like that kind of idea. Don't stop.
So you're saying Betzina will Bali Day from Betzina to go out also. Lamaisa, even though the Minchas Yitzchak says that Betzina is Aser, there are Cholkim. The Emes Yaakov, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky in his Chuvas and Even Ezer, Simon Chaf Aleph, he writes that a lady's allowed to work out in the gym with pants.
Pants? What's wrong with pants? What's with pants?
1 minute. And obviously he says when there's no men over there, it's mutter. What do you mean?
She's not borrowing your husband's suitcase and working out in the gym. She has her own.
It's ladies' pants.
It's ladies' pants.
Yeah, so, but is she going with it outside?
No. But that's
Is she going outside?
That's
What do you mean, Sinias? Sinias of what?
That's what she's saying, because women don't wear pants.
That's part two.
But it's not women. It's not Mishubegadi.
Lamaisa,
In stores, it's almost the same thing. It's separate pants for ladies.
I don't understand the shy. What if she has her own pants?
No. They sell the store. There's a separate thing.
I understand.
It's made special.
What'd you say? I understand, but outside she doesn't go with those pants.
Whatever, but it's not big. It's not big dish.
Sinias of what?
Maybe for some reason.
Why don't women wear pants? For whatever reason, they don't wear pants. So that's whatever it is. But for life, it's not Begadi.
The pashas why they don't wear pants is because the issa of like Yilbash. The shilas today, because that's what's before in their poskim clearly. Today they wear it. The shilas why it didn't change. That's the shaila. Amol the issa because that was a bag of dish. Today it changed, so the shilas why it didn't change. It should be mutter. Let's leave the pants thing on the side for now. I don't think we'll even get to it in the shir. Maybe towards the end. I want to first focus on the gidrei of Yilbash. We'll get pants as a prat. We'll get to it. Even though I'm going to go into another case of pants right now. Also, Rav Falcon Levusha Shal Torah brings that he has a whole arichas to discuss about wearing pajama pants, and he said he sent to ask Saibar Abel Yashiv and Saibar Vosner, and they both said it's mutter as long as it's betzina. So we have over here a shaila if betzina would be included or not. Minchas Yitzchak says that it's aser, others say that it's mutter. I hear the Olam wants to say that could be this is not a Yilbash. They all behandle it in the isser of Yilbash, but you want to say could be pants is not Yilbash. Good. So let's then declare about something that is a Yilbash. is betzina aser or not?
What is
L'chayr, this would be this machlokes if there's an isser like Yilbash betzina.
What's the gather of sinner here? By the pajama.
It's taka good shaila what's betzina, because betzina just means only in the bedroom, only in her room, or the pshat is to walk on the rounds, only when there's no men, other ladies, yeah.
Husbands.
Yeah, Shlov, and there's a lot written about it.
That's not a steer to the base of Shechi, because over there, women also do that betzin. That's what they do betzin. The whole mahus is betzin.
Yeah, but if the whole problem is love l'deizima, so it's betzina. What's
No,
the...
so that's not. It's not a malvash isha. If that's what a man doesn't only wear pants in the gym. A man, if that's what they're doing only in the gym, then that's not. And then that's not us. Meaning the mahus of base Shechi is sin, and that's a ma'aseh isha. That's when it's us. The pants in one oifen, in one prat, is not the mahus of the bush.
Oh, I hear what you're being... I hear the chiluk. Why is it a machalak l'gabe beis hashechi if it's betzina? If betzina is not a problem, it shouldn't be a problem.
Because you're being doiming out, you're being doiming the ish. You're not being doiming the ish, you're only wearing it in the gym. The beis hashechi, that's what women do. They do the beis hashechi.
Saying why it's more chamer. Beis hashechi, it's done, you're doing it like an isha there. Now let's try. This was all, so to speak, B'Tairis Hagdama. Let's try to go now into the Guf HaIsser of La Yilbash. The Guf HaIsser. I'll take it after. I want to move out a little bit over here. In the Guf HaIsser, the Isser HaTorah of La Yilbash, Dr. Bach, you need two Tanoim. You need two Tanoim to be over. First of all, you have to be machaven. You're doing it lehizdamos. A man to be mizdama to an isha. That's one reason. One thing that to be over, you have to do a lehizdamas. V'oid, it's only ba'oifen that the beged is a beged shall kishut v'noi. Which this second one we'll leave on the side. I'm clear which begadim, some begadim are not. What goes into that gather. But he says two tanoim that you need to be over on the Isser HaTorah of La Yilbash. First of all, it has to be that you're doing the lehizdamos. To look bedoima to a lady, v'oid, it's only in such items that are lekishut lenoi. Memela, since you need dafka begadim that you're putting on, since you need to do it dafka lehisdamois lenoshim, if you have a different intention why you're doing it, it's freezing cold outside, you don't have a scarf, and you want to take your wife's scarf, a lady's scarf. So what comes out from the Bach is that it would be mutter. Scarves, gloves. If you're not wearing it, let's see, like he calls it, you're putting it on for a different reason, not listamas, it'll be mutter. To Shevet HaLevi as a tshuva, Lagavi taking a woman's umbrella, and he says it's poshut that it's mutter. Which, l'chayr, that's what comes out, clear from the Bach, that it's mutter.
It's called wearing.
But he says like this, he says, even, first of all, you're not mechava, you're not putting it on listamas, you're wearing it poshet for practical, you need it not to get wet. But he says like this, loy mi boy, we're going to get to it, hopefully. There are those that argue on the Bach, and hold not like the Bach, which means even if you don't do a listamas, it's still aser. So he says like this, first of all, you're not doing a listamas. But he says they only aser, these poskim that argue on the Bach, are only arguing the makom where it's a beged. Something that's a beged, even if you're not wearing it lesdamas, you're wearing it because for practical. It's aser, they argue, you can't put on a pink scarf, your wife's scarf, even though you're not doing lesdamas, but they're moide, but oifen that it's not a beged, there it's mutter, when it's lesdamas. So even if you're going to argue on the Bach and say scarf is aser, gloves is aser, a beged is aser, even when it's not lisdamois, but if it's not a beged, it's mutter l'kula Allah. So mela umbrella is mutter gomer.
Putting it in here is not a beged.
We're not speaking about here b'chlal. There's so much to talk about here. We're not going into here b'chlal. I want to move a little bit along over here, just a little bit. What's called litzayrach? What is litzayrach? Be'etzem, the Bach says, as long as you're not machaven lehizdamos, it's mutter. You don't need a dafka to get tzayrach. Obviously, if you take bedafka a pink scarf, so you're doing a lehizdamos. but if there's a tzoyrich, it's mutter. The Minchas Yitzchak has a tshuva, and he speaks about also pants, and we're not going to get into particular item if maybe it should be mutter or maybe it's like silbash, but he's going that goes into like silbash, and he speaks about if a lady ligloish, I think he's talking about going down a slide, others bring the Minchas Yitzchak lagabe skiing, could they wear pants? Is that called that which ulachaira? That's a tzoyrich. They're not wearing it lehizdamos. They're wearing it for practical skiing, sledding, wearing the pants. L'cha'over l'fi the bach it's mutter, but says the Minchas Yitzchak that's not called a tzoyrich because let her not go sliding, and let her not put on the pants. That's what the Minchas Yitzchak says. That's not called a tzoyrich. First of all, it's a moirid de chiddush what he says that let her not do it. Could be taka let her not do it, but the word in the bach is as long as you're not doing lehizdamos. She's not doing it lehizdamos. I saw that taka levusha shal Torah and that shtickle he goes into this also, and he's bothered about this. The svar of the bach is that it's asa because lehizdamos. If you're not doing a lehizdamos, it's mutter. When she's putting it on, she's doing a lehizdamos. She's going for her cheshbon because she wants to go skiing. It's not relevant to. She's not doing a lehizdamos.
Maybe because of men's sport.
In the beginning, he says, "B'chalal about doing it, I'm not going into it." That itself is a problem. But we're not handling the sport Shabbat. He's talking about the beged. The beged.
The lady is a man's sport. So she's doing the skiing.
V'oid, I want to ask the oil v'oid. The Bach says that when it's a tzoyrach, when it's lahogin, it's mutter. Let's say you're going out in the rain to wear an umbrella, it's cold. So maybe over there also you should say that she can't go out, which means you have to know, maybe only if she has to go out to go shopping, it's mutter. Just like the Minchas Yitzchak says, let her not go sledding, and Mamela she doesn't have to do it. So what's the fine line? Let her not go outside when it's raining, or let her not when it's cold. Let her not go out. Only when there's a tzoyrich. If she wants to stop, take a walk to air out that it's aser.
If you're going with a bach, what's the kishut hanoi in the skiing pants either way?
What'd you say?
If you're going with a bach, and you have to have the tonight kishut hanoi also. What's the problem with the skiing pants?
What's b'chlal problem with pants? Let's leave pants on the side for now. I want to try to handle the ikr. I don't want to go into detail of pants. We could spend 2 hours on that, just that. Good shaila, but l'haniach, the pants is a problem with silvash. And the shaila is that if it's l'tzoyrich, is that called l'tzoyrich or not l'tzoyrich? We taka can handle pants harichas. I want to try to cover a little bit, just general. What I mean general in the ikr gather of l'silvash l'tzoyrich.
He's saying that you don't need to go because it's a pleasure outing.
It's fun, but is it recreational or is it not recreational?
Recreational,
It's not a fine line.
So
It's not a
the
fine
Torah,
line.
according to that, anytime a man is also not allowed to go for recreation to anywhere because for whatever he's going to bump into.
So that's Stam Shayla. We're not going into that. That could be Stam Shayla.
Recreation.
Right, the Marsham. The Marsham is a little bit along the lines of the Minchas Yitzchak. I'm sorry, I want to handle each thing separately. I want to cover a little bit of ground, mamish minimal. The Marsham has a little bit of a different gather in the general of call it Tzorich Lahagan. And he says that if it's Shayich B'inyan Acher, then there's no heter. Which means, pashtas in the Bach, if you're not doing it lezdamis, you're walking out of your house and these 2 umbrellas, a blue and a pink, but the blue one is a chveis upstairs or something, it's a tericha to go get it. So you're lazy, you just want to take the pink umbrella. From the Bach would come out it's a mutter because you're not doing it lezdamis. From the Marsham, it would be aser because lamaisa, you have a way, you have a oifen how to isli darkach, not darkach, you have a way out not to use it, and the mele would be aser. Knows the ilamaska for the Bach would be mutter, for the Marsham would be aser. Lamaisa, but you see, there's a chiluk Rabbi said between the Marsham and the Minchas Yitzchak. The Marsham would maybe agree that she could go skiing. Meaning to say is, if you're going outside, and there's a way how you could get your blue umbrella. Over there, Zok the Marsham, that's not called Lahagan L'Tzorich, because go upstairs, be matriach, get it. But could be the Marsham will be moide, he wouldn't go with the Minchas Yitzchak, that Then what are you going to tell me? That the only way to do it is to go with pants. So you can't tell me, let me not do it. The Masham doesn't say don't do it. The Masham says is if you have an oifen how to do it without using the beged of Isha, b'chai gavana it's aser. But if Lu Yitzur, what the Minchas Yitzchak's case about going sledding, skiing, over there could be he would agree that it's mutter. Yes, I'm sorry.
The whole thing is because it sounds like on the Gemara that says that if you have to walk in a certain way and there's nashim washing the
Isla Darka Achrina. We're not.
no, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the whole thing.
We're trying to stay focused exactly and only on the Isra Torah of Yilbash. We're focusing on that. There's a lot of, even in this, everything has a lot of different Isurim. We're trying to understand one Isur, actually two Isurim, the Isurei Torah of Yilbash. The other Isurim. The Minchas Yitzchak himself says, the Shoyl asked him about going sledding, skiing. He says, I hold it's a problem, b'chlal of Inyani Tzinius. But then he goes into Yilbash. So we want to try to focus on the Isser of Yilbash, the heter in Yilbash of the Bach, where is the heter said. So we see the Bach says that if it's l'tzorech lahagan, it's mutter. We see that what's called l'tzorech is not in ganzen klar. Minchas Yitzchak says, now if you don't have to do it, that's not called l'tzorech. The Masham says that l'tzorech is only b'makah where you don't have a different way. You can't get around it. He brings a raya. The Masham brings a raya. We mentioned in the beginning of the shir that there's an isser for ladies not only to wear begadim of men, but who adin klei milchama. Good. You mentioned before what type of guns, but let's go weiter with the shuras adin of the isser that they're not allowed to wear klei milchama. The pasuk in Shoftim in Tanakh, it's after in Parshas Beshalach, when the Yal killed Sisra, and it says that she took a yoseh, the peg from the tent. Vatikach Yal Eishes Chaveres Yesed the oil, and Vatitkes a Yesed Berkachta, she took the peg. Zokt the Yalka, Zokt Chazal, Rashi brings it in Nozadaf Nuntes, Mipnei Ma loy her gosa Yal Bekli Zayin. Why didn't she kill with a gun? Why did you have to take out a peg from a tent to kill him? Why can you take? Then you didn't need a license. Anyways, they rather ask, why didn't you take a roimach, a spear, a regular roimach? Why didn't you take a roimach, a regular clay zayin? So Zokta, he says, kadei lekayim ashenem ala yir klei gever alisha. The Isalei Silbash. So Mamela Zokta Marsham. You see that if she had a different way out, she was able to take a yasser, a peg. She didn't have a heter to use a weapon. So mainly you see the heter that the Bach says of Silbash is only a heter of Litzorach of Lahagan is only when you don't have a way out. If you have a way out, you're on the way out and you want to take the pink umbrella, maybe that's it, but you want to take a beged, but Lamaisi you have a way to go to use something else, but Chahai Gavin you don't have that heter. Lamaisa, in the Isser of Loy Yilbash, which we see that these Isser Atayr ladies are not allowed to wear big day anoshim, and we see that the Heter said that the Bach says Lahagan is mutter. Ramosha had a shaila. Ramosha was asked in Gusha Tzion. It's unsafe to be there without a gun. Could ladies go around with guns? That's the tshuva of Ramosha. But Pashtus we would say, based on this whole shir, we would say that it's mutter, because Harabach says lahagin is mutter. So mainly, even though for a lady to wear a gun is la yilbash, but l'tzorich is mutter. L'maiser, Ramosha says no. Ramosha says, Mamash, another minute. I'm sorry. Ramosha says, thank you. Ramosha says that the whole heter of the Bach of L'tzoyrech, that a man is allowed to wear a beged of a isha, or the opposite, L'tzoyrech or Lahagin, that's only begadim, only clothing, as opposed to weapons. That's what Ramosha says. And therefore, for weapons, there would be no heter. There would be no heter. Big yisoy, the big chiluk, he says. And when Mela, so he says, but Lamaisi was matter for them, he says, pekuach nefesh. It's mutter, but not out the heter of the bach. There's no heter l'tzoyrich. He says it's mutter. He has a very long tshuva over there, but out the heter of l'tzoyrich, it's not applicable by weapons, only by clothing. With this, one could be meyashiv the cholkem on the bach. This is the important thing. The Bach says that it's mutter. L'tzoyrich is mutter. The Issel Yilbash becomes mutter l'tzoyrich. There are those that argue on the Bach. This is a list of those that argue. The Shach by us says Einoi Muchrach on the Bach. The Chachmas Adam, the Binas Adam, argues on the Bach, and he says there is no heter of l'tzoyrich, and his raya is from Sisra. Why did Yal have to take a yasser to peg? Why couldn't she just take a weapon? Because ein l'chol lahagin gadol mizeh. Lafi the bachta lahagin is mutter. Why don't you say over here that it's mutter? Because it's lahagin. So says the Chachmas Adam, the Bina Sadam, have a raya that lahagin is not a heter. And the Bina Sadam, who's the Chachmas Adam, argues on the Bach, and he says that lamaisa, not like the Bach, you don't have a heter of lahagin l'tzoyrich. So we have a machloikis. Lamaisa lafi this Ramosha, that Ramosha says that the heter of the Bach is only by clothing, not by weapons. So Mela will be Mayushav the Kasha, because over there it's taka weapons. So just to be masakim, what we have over here, there's a Isra Torah side for men, side for ladies of La Yilbash. We saw that there's a heter of the Bach of l'tzoyrich, lahagin. We saw what's called a tzoyrich, Minchas Yitzchak. Maybe certain places you can't bring it upon yourself, or if there's a way out. These are machloikis between those that argue on the Bach. But even the kasha we saw, there's a chiluk between Bagadim, and there's a chiluk between Klei Zayin, and one final din. Even the Binas Adam that argues on the Bach of l'tzoyrich, he agrees by something that's not a beged. For an example, which we spoke before, an umbrella, a pink umbrella would be mutter. He has two different cases. He speaks about with the fans, those Chinese fans. You're allowed to use it. A woman's fan, are you allowed to blow on yourself? On a man, a woman's fan. And he brings another case about a lady. Is a lady allowed to walk with a cane? Those two cases, he says, will be mutter. Because even if there's a Issel or Yilbash on Begodim and there's no heter of l'tzoyrich, when it's not a beged, it's mutter.